Welcome to Weeaboo Hell. It's Weeaboo Hell. Once again, I am Dennard, Blind Monkey Dayle.
I am Sam, Mute Monkey Lagow.
And this week we varied the document a bit.
Oh man, so it's been easy mode thus far because we've been going after just the hottest garbage. But today it's not garbage. No, today it's trash, and trash is a little bit harder.
Yeah, trash is a different wavelength. I would say that in a nutritional sense, trash is like Wendy's. It is empty calories of media that you still keep on eating.
I'm going to borrow something that you once said about Caribbean food, which is that this show is the smoking of anime.
Yeah, you just...
Maybe you enjoy it, but oh man, it's bad for you.
You go through a long day before you hit your domestic girlfriend, domestic Canada, whichever title you want to go for. And you say you're just going to peel off one cigarette. And after that one hit, you look down and the entire pack is empty.
And you're caught the fuck up on the season.
You're caught the fuck up on the season. It looks like you texted your ex at some point. You don't know when that happened. I guess that's the main character's decision-making rubbing off on you.
People are referring to you as a sad boy now.
It's true that this show is often... It seems it's best played at real sad boy hours as far as I can
absolutely tell. Real sad boy. Oh, so it needs a proper introduction. Yeah. This week... Exclusively, This week, we are exclusively talking about domestic nakanojo, or domestic girlfriend, as it's now being called now that it's got an adaptation. I'm actually familiar with this series from way back. In one of my more depressive streaks, I shotgunned the whole fucking manga up to current, this was a couple years ago, so I'm no longer caught up on it, but this is an old friend that I am greeting right here today.
The second he told me that story...
Oh, man,
I knew I had to see the show, because I had my own incident with a sort of empty-calorie piece of media on a similar pseudo-soap opera wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
Only, it wasn't a weeaboo thing. It was actually a French-Canadian comic called Les Nombrils, or The Belly Buttons. I probably mangled the French for that. I was generically sad at the time, because my mom was sick at the time, and I was sort of parsing that. So, in this hotel room in North Carolina, in, I want to say, a 12-hour spread of just reading teenage comics, I now have a semi-encyclopedic knowledge of the belly buttons.
And of the first half or so far of domestic nakanojo, and I have to tell you, I think I get soap operas a little bit more. After,
you feel closer to that?
I understand why people watch them now. It was something that completely escaped me because in fairness, because I just really never tried to understand.
Yeah, we're normally at school or work or sleeping off a drunk when most soap operas are on.
Mm-hmm.
Which shows something about marketing, because we weren't even in a position to be exposed to the average soap opera.
No, I think the closest I've ever come to watching a soap opera was watching that one Will Ferrell movie called La Casa de Mi Padre, which I remember actually being pretty goddamn side-splitting, and I'm not even that into Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell has his moments. I remember that whole thing where he played the president back... It was either during the Bush administration or shortly in the aftermath, but...
He played the president?
Yeah, he did an impression. It was like a one-man show kind of thing, and he just basically ripped on the administration for an hour, as anyone should do as someone who's alive during the Bush or Trump administration.
It's because he was the guy playing Bush on Saturday Night Live during the Bush era. But
I
was absolutely not watching Saturday Night Live at that point, nor was I paying that much attention to the wider media sphere in general.
Okay, so that's the equivalent to one of those SNL original movies then, only they made it a one-man show, because for once they showed some sense of restraint, I guess, which is different for them, but good job. Alright, so that's our high level here, right?
Let's, get into it.
Yeah, let's...
Oh man, I want to sink my fucking teeth into this juicy trash sandwich that it is.
So,
I'm gonna be straight with you guys right now. I kind of fucking love this show. Not because it's good or anything. I don't think you could say that it is good, but because it's just delicious.
I'm existing in some kind of state of cognitive dissonance over here. You don't really have a positive or negative critical reaction to watching a car hit another car in traffic. You just sort of are transfixed upon that car.
I hope you have some reaction to it, but...
So, Episode 1. It just starts right out the gate with our main character losing his virginity.
He is just hooked up with this girl that he has met at a mixer, which, okay, sure, fine.
For context, he's high school age because anime.
Because anime, although he happens to be a senior, which is about like 3 or 4 years older than your average anime protagonist. They really, really fucking love sticking him in sophomore year and not letting him leave.
Yeah, it makes things that happen marginally less weird than they would be, but it still gets very weird. So he goes to meet his friend, and there's a real character establishment thing where he tackles his friend and says, "You're soft, but not as soft as the woman I just slept with." And my first thought was that this man is probably a murderer.
No, well, there is this great kind of sense of dawning horror you get over the course of the first couple episodes. I think you can pick up on it by the end of the first episode. The protagonist of this show, Natsuo, is the biggest fucking creep show, guys. Oh my god, with this guy. I can't even begin.
I think he may be a vampire. Like, he sort of pulls
He's
other
the
people
worst.
into himself, and the whole time he pitches it as being about his emotions.
He's
and
just such a weak fuck who, like, makes everything worse.
Every temptation that you stumble upon or struggle with in life, Natsuo looks at that and says, "Give me 2.
Give me 2 of them.
The second that this kid is out of high school, he is going to be hooked on 3 things.
What is the price? Is it at someone else's expense? I will pay that price.
So this is Mixer at this karaoke booth. Natsuo sleeps up. This girl's name is Rui. She's like the sort of soft-spoken cold type they're going for there.
They're kind of like the Rei Ayanami type.
I think this may end up being a recurring thing.
I mean, the anime industry made it a recurring thing, not us. Rei Ayanami has such a goddamn lineage.
You know, the character, like, hard outside, soft inside, whatever, yada yada. So, this is the one thing he doesn't really manipulate his way into, in that she propositions him, brings him back to her place, they do the deed, it's both of their first times or whatever.
And she describes it as, well, that was a thing, which... Oh man, it's real sad boy hours. This is such a fucking sad boy show. Maybe that's why I like
That
it.
was a thing. Is that like the emotional connection equivalent of Is It In Yet?
Something along those lines. Yeah, I just... Here's the thing. Up to now, right? At this point, Natsuo is blameless. Right? This is, maybe they're a little young, but, at 17, if you're both 17, like, kids have sex. That is a thing that they do. I'm not going to be, like, so puritanical as to hold it against either of them. They have made a choice, right? They don't seem to regret this choice at all. It's fine. Everyone involved is fine. And then...
we have Figure 2.
And then we are introduced to the rest of the show.
Figure 2, I think, judging by the opening, there are going to be 4 people in this. I guess that's a love pentagon.
No, it's just the 3.
Just the 3? Okay.
Having read a good deal of it, it never goes beyond the 3.
Okay,
or at least
so
it hasn't in my...
I guess I'll just ignore the OP of this program then. But enter Girl 2 in this love triangle, who is his teacher.
His hot teacher.
Which I actually wrote this down. Enter Hina-chan, teacher from Brazzers video.
I actually think that the animators did right by this series by giving her character design just a little bit more character than she had in the manga. In the manga, one of the things that I noticed while I was reading it is just how strikingly generic Hina's character design was, and they actually gave her something. I don't know what it was. It was there's this je ne sais quoi to it in the anime.
So, Mrs. Bad Touch, that's what I was originally calling her when I was watching this, because at that time I assumed that she would have more moral fault in the situation than our protagonist.
I mean, she does. Not as much, but she does.
This is a bit like that story they tell you in middle school where they ask you to rank how wrong everyone in the story was.
and everyone in this story is definitely wrong.
I think with the 3 of them, I might be 1, 3, 2, and he's 1, 2, 3, so maybe there'll be a point of discussion, but
I mean... definitely 1.
Natsuo
is 1.
This teacher has an entirely inappropriate emotional relationship with this student.
It's, it could be very, very... at best described as flirty, perhaps too much so given that he is a minor.
But there's essentially just a lot of emotional dumping going on, and once again, it's one of those things where, like, on the text level of the show, it's like just sort of a sad boy thing, like, oh, if only she liked me, at least maybe I can lose myself in this Ruby girl a bit. But as I watch it, I basically see him mentally, like, drumming his fingers
Just
together,
waiting for his shot, and kind of, I don't know if they were going for this. Here's the thing. When I was watching this, right, it'd been several years. I had kind of forgotten about this guy and his character. And I was trying to remember, is he just some bland, stand-in, sign-in protagonist? No, he's not. No, there's something subtle and devious about this guy. Everything he does seems to be just, he is this creature that wants, and he doesn't seem to care what that costs. He just wants it. And he will do whatever it takes. He will sink however low he needs to sink in order to get it.
Yeah, I call it Prison School's Dark Other in this way. Like, he is as boner-driven mentally as any of those characters, but it just manifests in this somewhere between Sunny and Philadelphia Walter White moment. With the Breaking Bad thing, this show's prestige, this show's flourish, its opening tried where I knew I would watch at least 4 more episodes of this complete nonsense, is when his dad comes home, and his dad's a widower, and, that's unfortunate, no one likes to lose a parent that way. But he says, I think I'm going to remarry. Okay, says the kid.
So
and I don't know if things the wheels turning in slow motion.
So I don't know if things are different in Japan, right? But maybe I'm getting a little bit nitpicky here. But he seems to have never heard that he was dating again, or that it was this serious. But here we are. Hey, son, I've been in a pretty serious relationship for, I have to imagine, at least bare minimum the last several months, probably years, I would figure.
I don't know, maybe his dad's on the same decision-making wavelength as this guy.
Yeah, could be. Although, I don't know, I have nothing but respect for this guy's dad. As the series goes on, if any of you guys watch Riverdale, right? The Archie Andrews character, his dad, played by the late, great Luke Perry, he's too fucking good for his garbage son.
So we haven't gotten to the Prestige.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, go for it.
The Prestige here, he says, hey, you're getting a new mom. And with that new mom, you're getting 2 new sisters. And my first thought is, no, don't you fucking dare.
And they fucking did it.
It's his teacher and the girl he had a one-off with that said she never wanted to see him again. And as they stare across each other, I think about every dark permutation that just opened up. And believe me, you might think, like, is it a subtext or text level? No, the show makes it weird on a text level.
Like, it really didn't need to be weird, but, it just has these horrible people in it that make it weird.
Now, the reason I was bringing up the Walter White thing was everyone talked about that key scene in Breaking Bad, where he rejects the free money at the party, right? Like,
yeah.
All this was avoidable. That scene where his dad comes in and tells him, hey, meet your new family. He had a chance in that moment where he could have just said, okay, Dad, cool. By the way, me and that girl doinked once. Okay, I'm over it, you're over it. Let's all move forward.
Let's go forward from here. We're over it. In a year, we won't even remember. We'll laugh about it.
But no.
Nope.
His flesh hungers.
This is, honest to fucking God, this guy is... I wanted to say, I had this one comment that I wanted to make, but I'm rethinking it now. That this show felt kind of dishonest about how horny this dude was. But now I'm thinking, no, there's actually something very honest about how much of a creep this guy is. He seems to be spending most of his time pretending that he is not thinking exclusively with his gonads every decision he makes. And seems to be putting up a front of like, oh, it's just me. I'm just trying to, live my life here. Oh, what an awkward situation I found myself in. I'm just trying to do right by everyone. No, he's trying to get his dick sucked.
It's just like how you accidentally almost ending up kissing your passed out stepsister.
Yeah, that's
that
how
happens. She
ends.
drinks a lot because, I don't know, being a berry drinking girl is a signifier of sex or whatever. And while she's in La La Land on the couch, he's like, I can put this all behind me if I just kiss her now, which is not how
No, that's
non-serial
like
murderers think.
that's putting something else in front of you now.
That's how you become a hashtag. And the only reason he stops is that his technically little sister, because you have to cover the full spread of the sort of fetish base in this,
Oh yeah, no, there's the
walks in on this.
there's the Ara there's the Ara side of the spectrum, and then there's the Emoto side of the spectrum.
I guess the teacher thing will be folded into the first half. Or...
Yeah, no, that's the Ara side. The Ara,
And this show decides
Big
that,
titty.
like Thanos, everything must be perfectly balanced between these two. I guess it's worth noting thematically that the girls' mom got cheated on by their dad, which to me is relevant in that this horrible new man's being introduced to their life, but is...
It seems to have, well, here's the thing. The character writing in this case makes some amount of sense, because it seems to have, at the very least, instilled a healthy suspicion in Rui, the younger sister.
That's sort of there. I think that's more of a generic, like, romantic distance that they're going to close. I think that coming out of armed girl Machiavellianism and handshakers, you are just happy to be getting actual dialogue.
I'm a little bit shell-shocked,
and
I gotta tell you.
scenes that make sense. Because in the show, like, the things that happen in previous scenes lead to logical consequences in future scenes. Like, it's a show that
There's
makes
continuity here.
sense, which is different than anything
No,
we've
it's
touched so
very...
far.
It is very well constructed trash. It is the most... When you back up, it is the most implausible, melodramatic garbage. But no, I don't want to say garbage, because that implies that it's terrible and
I'm going
not
back to
watchable.
the Wendy's thing. Like, this
It's
thing on
trash.
its meme Wendy's social media account says, like, Negima freezes their beef, but ours is freshly made every day. Come get a domestic Kanojo burger. I wanted to talk about this one thing before we got to the second episode,
Yeah, go for it.
which was the, I quote, Bebsy machine.
Okay, so yeah. No, one of my favorite fucking little things in anime is just how they will put brands there, but they don't want to pay for them, so they'll spell it really fucking funny. And the Bebsy machine is Bebsy okay?
I got
It's so
a
fucking good, guys.
pure ear-to-ear grin out of the existence of the Bebsy
The
machine.
Bebsy machine. I'm pretty sure that's my Monster Hunter character's name.
Bebsy is now the official beverage of this show.
Absolutely.
So the situation progresses where he has sexual tension with both of them.
Just
And we
spoiler
get
alert,
this-
this is not about to stop.
It's not about to stop, but the second one starts with her just pushing her drunk sister off the couch,
There's pretty good, like, little physical humor there. I didn't mind.
and then she's, I guess, jealous of her older sister almost getting date hugged by this guy.
I'm sorry, this is bringing back some memories here, because this is... I don't want to belabor the point, but this is such a fucking sad boy show, and I don't know that I'm depressed enough to watch this. Like, I am depressed, certainly, but...
Yeah, he's only the amount of depressed that you are from reading headlines on a day-to-day basis. He's not really in that dysthymic mode that got him through the first run of this, so there's a little effort involved.
Like, I can function as a human being. I can get out of bed in the morning, take a shower, do chores, go live my life. I feel like I'm not deep enough in this hole for this show to be for me. I feel just a little bit dishonest, going on about it the way I am. Like I'm a tourist.
Me, I am all about appropriation, so I'm just sprinting through. Our main character, he goes to school, no one woke him up, even though the teacher works at that school. Which is a little gag,
Yeah,
I'm going there.
that's a
That was fine,
Like they're all in it
It
now.
turns out that the girl's transferring to his school,
Yeah.
and they're in the same homeroom
They're
class.
in the same class. They have this little scene together, which is actually a pretty amusing scene.
They try to put together a little conspiracy. No one must know of our semi-incestual
Doinking.
private hell's doinking.
I like
present
doinking for
doinking,
this.
presumably future doinking.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
oh yeah, okay, spoilers.
Spoilers, he has sex with both of them over the course of this series.
Which really, I guess that's what distinguishes this from like the. Not that others haven't done this, but what takes it from like the normal harem, like will they or won't they, is that this thing just doubles down on the telenovela. Can they stop?
Can they stop? Should.
Why are they still doing this?
They will, but should they?
It puts a fucking smile on my face. They agree that they're gonna pretend not to know each other, even though they're living together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're gonna walk in from different entrances to the school or whatever. I guess they're never getting dropped off again. And for some reason, she's angry that he wants to pretend to have never known her after just having sex with her. Women, these mysterious creatures, will we ever understand them? I think they're like Martians, right?
I think my favorite thing about watching this show, right, is just watching as everyone kind of infects everyone else in this show with their unique shittiness. And Rui, credit to her, is fairly blameless for the first few episodes of this show, but if I'm remembering it right, that does not remain the case.
Oh, she's gonna tumble down the moral staircase?
You know, I actually do want to watch this, so we're gonna see that together. But no one's hands are clean in this show. Natsuo's are the most immediately dirty, filthy, even, and it just kind of always is just getting worse with this guy.
It is something else. So in this school, they agree that instead they're gonna pretend to be friends. After they act out this sort of domestic skit in the classroom that convinces the other girls that she's not actually a bully or what have you.
I think the concern was just she's cold and doesn't know how to socialize, which
It's really an autopilot character trait, but I was kind
of like that in high school. I just did not start I would end any conversations that people tried to get in with me. Honestly, I like Rui. I empathize with Rui right now. Right now is important.
Does she kill a dog? You know what? No, we're gonna do more of this. So we'll save that.
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll save that. I have to have my stories.
Yes,
I need my stories.
Maybe this is what getting older is like. You just understand soap operas now, because I think if I were 22, I'd either think this show was boring, or I would get no enjoyment out of these shitty people and the shitty situations that they create for themselves.
Speaking of Kazuo being a sort of a black hole of a human being, after she, does his hair for him in the classroom as one does in all normal, non-incestuous relationships, the whole sketch thing happens and he goes home, and the Love Hina force is in effect because he walks in on her in the shower.
So I don't know what there really is to say about this other than it's, it's fan service. Honestly, as fan service goes in shows, in this show, it's not even that amazingly gratuitous. They actually just
I would say it's a little gratuitous.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of gratuitous fan service. This is they make an effort to have it very much be Natsuo's gaze. Like every time there is, a shot of titties, it immediately cuts back to Natsuo looking at these titties, right?
Boy, he's not an eye contact kind of guy, huh?
No. I think I actually kind of respect the fact that both of his new stepsisters seem to see right the fuck through him.
Yet they fall into the vortex nonetheless, because Rui, after he walks in, starts asking him for a round 2. Now that it's explicitly incest, I guess maybe that adds some kick to her. I don't know what's going on in her head. I think that she may also be a murderer, is what I'm getting at. But yeah, she asks him for a rebound doig after he failed to kiss her sister.
Points to him, he says, fuck no.
What he should say is, can we end the madness and the charades and move on to the rest of our life? Like, we have the whole second half of Crime and Punishment to get through.
I don't even think that he gave her that strong of a no. I think he just did not have sex with her twice.
Truly the picture of restraint.
He
does stay in the bathroom half naked for a conversation, though, because he's a manipulative dick munch.
For the whole time. Yeah, in fairness, he was invited in, but the proper answer to that invitation is no, I cannot attend.
And it may seem like it's paced out when I describe it on this long podcast. This stuff really cascades at a speed where I'm still processing the last fucking thing that they put in front of me, and then another one is happening.
Are watching it unfold, and it's really, like I said, this show is so goddamn juicy because the way that it is paced is actually perfect for watching it just get dumber and dumber and dumber and more melodramatic.
Yeah, it really rockets through. So then there's a family dinner, and it's weird.
I want to stop beating around the bush here to explain why everyone is awful. So Hina, she's running around with a married dude. That's just a thing that we find out. Yeah. And, you know, maybe not the most upstanding thing to do, but to her credit, you know, Natsuo comes into her fucking room at night, it says, and tries to call her on it like it's his fucking business. And to her credit, she says, it's none of your business.
Yeah, okay, so before this, there's this whole extended comedic sequence where he, like, talks to his friend at work, and he has this boss who is this, I don't know, camp gay archetype that I think this is anime's version of the magical advice Negro in terms of just the...
It could be, yeah, no, they show up a lot. I remember, like, even as good as it was, Full Metal Alchemist had the funny gay guy.
Yeah, so, whatever, that happens, and because they're talking about all the people who come to this bar, restaurant, whatever, place of eating and drinking to talk about their problems. And one of the problems is this woman who's in an illicit affair. And it turns out that it's Hina.
It's Hina-chan. Hina-ne. No, it's Hina-ne, right?
Oh, yeah, there's a whole thing where she says, I'm gonna be a good sister to you in the first episode. And she's not.
And
she's not.
She's such a fucking liar. All of these people are fucking liars.
But she makes him call her, like, Hina sis, and it's weird.
It's, like, super weird.
It's super weird. It's the first page on your porn streaming site. Those first 3 videos that you sort of scroll by, it's those.
Honest to fucking God, this is the fucking plot of a porno, by the way, and I am remembering that the manga, for a good long while, was way more R-rated than the anime has been.
Oh, is this like a Fate Stay Night situation where they adapted an H thing?
It's not that H, it's
like the ecchi kind of wavelength?
It's E. It's very much E, yeah.
Wow, so we're actually looking at the cleaned up version of this product.
With a capital fucking E.
The E is a slightly larger font than the other letters.
Yeah,
it's actually a word art thing. It's got that purple italic thing going.
As it went on, it got a little bit less so. But I remember early on in this manga's run, it was capital E ecchi, which I think in the manga made the whole "this is a porn plot" thing make a little bit more sense. Because no, it was just a little bit of porn plot, or it was just a little bit of porn, not like lowercase p porn.
So he goes back to their domicile and decides that it's his fucking business to ask her about this affair. And her, at this point, it seems to be the peak of his guilt, as it's there's some subtext of, but I thought you were for me to this.
Oh, absolutely. Well, but there's that. I also would really like to pause here and just imagine his thought process, the mental gymnastics where he convinced himself that this was his fucking business.
Yeah, there's a certain degree of separation between your lives and other lives. Then there's a degree of separation that's between your life and your fucking stepsister's life. And he looks at these border lines between people. And he has a sort of personality that sees these border lines as a disorder that he must cross. And as he crosses these border lines...
These annoying little things. I will step over them and on them.
He decides it's his place to first grill her on this. She says, "You're a child." Accurate.
Uh-huh.
And then he tries to kiss her. And I sort of expected a sort of Brock Lesnar suplex kind of thing to emerge from this, but...
I think I was just yelling slap him, or I was yelling slap him at the screen the whole time the scene was playing out.
But then this thing's telenovela comes out, because she basically pushes him off.
Slaps him, to her credit.
Pulls him back in. They almost they really draw the shots out on that one. It's uncomfortable. I'm going to go ahead and say the fan service is gratuitous in this one, but I'm on a different wavelength here.
No, you've been in this shit too, man. Don't act like you haven't. It's not that gratuitous.
Okay, maybe not in the scale of, Weeaboo Media Fair.
But I think this is actually the point where everything's fair game. Because, no, you just did that now, too. At this point, whatever shithole you dig yourselves, you can fucking die in that hole now. And I don't care. I don't feel sorry for you. When they teach you about writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They teach you about the 8 deadly words that you never fucking want to hear, which is, I don't care what happens to these people. But there's a weird fucking asterisk, addendum, what have you, to that, which is, I don't care what happens to these people, but I want something to happen to these people.
It's a bit like being at the gawking section of an execution.
Oh no, absolutely. There's such a bile aspect to this show. Just really,
I think I've made this comparison something different, or referenced it, but it gave me the experience where I could understand for a second the appeal of being a woke Twitter person, like deciding who was canceled this week. You are the person that deserves reproach. You must go into the pillory.
Natsuo
You are the
is
sinful
canceled.
one. Yeah, Natsuo was canceled. Hina is canceled. Evidently, Rui's gonna get canceled.
Rui's a little bit less canceled. I'd say out of the 3 of them, she is the least canceled. But like, yeah, Rui's a little canceled.
You have the entire scale there, from your Weinsteins to your fucking Terry Crews incidents there on the show. I could really let my inner Puritan out a little, and that's good sport. So after the kiss/near doinking incident, he starts tearing up, and on the liminal level, the surface level that he perceives, it's because, our family life here is so broken. How can I live with this
shit out of this kid?
But you can smell it, and once again, the reason that I give the show credit, it's not like the show isn't aware that he's a shit, and that he's
absolutely
not just mad because he's not getting it in.
I don't even think it's asking you to empathize with him at all. Like, maybe it is a little bit, but more it's just, it's more just kind of looking at you, kind of sideways, just being like, hey, you wanna see what this fuck gets up to next?
Hey, want to see a dead body?
And like, honest to God, I think my answer is yes.
I kind of am rubbing my no-leaf clover together and hoping we get a real school days ending out of this one.
Oh man, wouldn't that be something?
That would give me a lot of vitamins. I would draw life from that.
Oh, I think the manga is still ongoing, so I can't even check to see if we do get a school days ending out of this one.
I'm glad it's not finished. It'll be like we're all going on this journey together.
Yeah, fuck. God damn it. I might just catch myself up on this fucking thing. God damn it. I didn't need this. I've got other shit I was gonna do.
No, Sam. We might catch ourselves up on this.
Oh.
So yeah, he cries after getting kicked from the room, and he runs off to stay at his friend's house, as all 17-year-olds do.
Leaves a little note behind. Rui finds him somehow after his friend. Also, I should give his work friend credit. God, his name escapes me, even though he is an entertaining character.
Oh yeah, Fumiya.
Fumiya, thank you.
There's
Fumiya,
a nice recurring gag where every time they have a little physical struggle, it ends with Fumiya holding him in a wrestling hold.
and they're actually legit holds. As an enthusiast myself, like,
yeah, I think Cage does that move.
I think he
on
does.
Lucha
Yeah.
Underground. Yeah.
And I think, okay, so it might have just been the generic anime glomp, but originally, Natsuo greets this guy with a pretty well executed spear. I have to wonder if the mangaka is a mark. He might be. It's pretty big in Japan.
It is very possible. I would not call that a conspiracy level insight.
No, I like when little things like that make their way into completely unrelated media.
Yeah, it adds a little personality, gives me something to point and say, I recognize that. This gives me comfort. But at this point, it gets into the fact that Kazuo... It's Katsuo, right? Natsuo, fuck. I've been saying Katsuo the entire episode.
You've been saying Katsuo once or twice. I didn't want to correct you, but yeah, no, we could...
Oh, well, sorry, everyone. I am a sinful person. It turns out his name is Natsuo, not Katsuo. Whatever. Mr. Blue Hair, he, turns out, is a writer, which...
It's brown. Let's be fair, it's brown.
It's brown. It's brown. Yeah, it's brown. God, I think. Okay, this episode is recorded the day after St. Patrick's Day, and I am dying. I am a corpse.
I went to a job interview today, and I was hungover.
I don't know how you did that. I don't know how you're getting a second interview today. At work, I was just staring at my screen and thinking, I hope they don't expect me to produce Capital today, because it's not gonna happen.
That's not happening today.
I am the hangover version.
It's just not in the cards.
I'm the hangover version of Bartleby the fucking Scrivener today. Because I'm not working. So, Natsuo, with an N, is a writer. And for some reason, this keeps cropping up in romantic leads in anime manga over the last 5 years.
I feel like they also tend to all be trash, too. Like, as
I feel like it's
beings.
almost a fearful maneuver, not just in the originality sense, but just in terms of they're having trouble writing someone who is too far away from them. So, say he likes writing and he's struggling to be understood. Yeah, those are human things because they're my things.
And he's a creep. That's
he's a
not
creep,
my
and
thing.
I'm a creep. He is a few layers of creep.
I actually don't believe that I caught it the first time around when I was reading the original manga. But this was several years back, before I became more educated on, shall we say, the red flags, the hallmarks of creepdom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just the convenient lies that dudes tell themselves, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, there's something really fucking caustic about this guy who we are asked to sympathize with and even empathize with.
Oh, he is radioactive. If he walks by 4 turtles, you're gonna get Michelangelo through Donatello out of them.
Oh, absolutely. I think the only, generic shonen / seinen protagonist that I have had a greater immediate negative reaction to was the, for our purposes, nameless protagonist of Recreators, who starts out as milquetoast, and then as we get into the show, we learn is actively just a myopic, horrible human being whose fault this all is. And Natsuo is a horrible, myopic human being whose fault this all is.
Natsuo, in some ways, is real in that he is a person we all know.
Oh, absolutely.
And have met in our lives.
This is a man who exists in real life. This is a man who exists in real life thousands of times over.
That will come to you every 2 weeks talking about a new romantic work personal disaster that is everyone's fault but his. And he was a pillar of virtue throughout.
And he will try to get you to empathize with him. And you're going to have to pretend to do so because, the two of you work together, right? And you don't want it to be weird. You kind of have to keep the peace. It's not like he's getting fired anytime soon.
Or if you're like me in high school, because he has an Xbox.
Because he has an Xbox, yeah.
Yeah, my version of that guy, actually, he became like a hard right guy later. It was kind of fucking crazy. He's full MAGA train.
Ugh.
Yeah, Trump's words. They're like people, but less so. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chapo's Weeb House. How's it going?
Post your hog.
Post your fucking hog.
If this were Chapo's Weeb House, though, we should probably be giving liberals some shit, too. But no, I don't want to go off on Beto O'Rourke right now. We need to be talking about anime.
Yeah, let's fuck. All right. So anyway, Rui shows up. It's Rui, right?
It's Rui, yeah.
Okay. I've only screwed up one name the entire episode. That's good.
I think you actually referred to Rui as Katsuo at one point.
Oh man, me and proper nouns have a party.
But go on.
So Rui shows up and, sort of accuses her, and can I stay here too? Because, he's done the whole run away from home gambit in protest of his sister's affair, which doesn't actually 100% add up because those are consequences for his parents, right?
For his parents. Really? No, not even them. Those are consequences for Hina and Hina alone. Right?
I mean, like, the idea he should be making a statement to Hina, but his parents are the ones who are, like, actually affected by him doing this.
Oh, by him running off?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Hina's affair, because,
No, I'm saying, like, him running away to protest his affair. He wants to do something to strike at Hina, But he just does this thing that dicks over his dad. And when he gets back home, by the way, they are signing the divorce paper because they think their kids have just hard vetoed this entire thing. Which they should, for different reasons.
Well, yes and no. Or his dad is misinterpreting his behavior as acting out because he does not like this arrangement. This is a fair misunderstanding. It's an honest mistake that he's making here. Though, in these circumstances, the correct response to this is not to immediately cave the way that they were about to immediately cave, but to call your son, sit him down in the bed, hit him really hard, and say, go fuck yourself, grow up, this isn't your call.
This dad's version of the sort of Kenny Loggins song, The Gambler, just goes, you gotta know when to fold him. Know when to fold them. Do some folding.
Do a whole lot of folding here.
Guess what time it is? It's folding time.
I really do respect how accommodating his dad is trying to be. His Natsuo does not deserve a man this pure as his father. And I don't even know if it is his real father, because I don't know how such a shitty human being came out of him.
I am 27 and a half years old, and I have gone through 27.4 years thinking that it is wrong in all circumstances to hit your children. And now I can list at least one circumstance in which it's okay
to hit your
children. And it's when they've been lying to you about their two-way incest desires that they have been slowly positioning themselves in.
This guy.
Over the last week, as you are trying to build some semblance of happiness in your life after your wife died. But no, your son really just needs to start drilling down his stepsister.
And they mentioned this was 10 years ago. It's not like this happened before, Natsuo had a chance to properly grieve or anything like that. No, I'm not really sure what I'm getting at here, but fuck Natsuo.
He comes back, and Hina is so happy to see them because she thought she, lost them because of her actions. And I'm watching and I wonder, through what dark human magic has the moral initiative landed in the show's economy in Natsuo's side?
See, here's the thing. This whole time, right, I'm trying to figure out, and I'm having a really hard time, whose side the narrative is on here. And if I should like this show, because I do like this show, despite everything.
I think it's on the side of Belial, Lord of the Pit.
Lord of the Pit. So we talk about authorial intent for a second. I'm wondering if I'm on the author's side here, because I'm having a very hard time figuring out if the author is on their side or not.
I'm wondering if it's even the right question on my end, because I feel like this guy is just making these Wendy's sliders, and here's me picking up the fucking bun and looking at the pickles and saying, hey, these look frosty. Hey, you told me shit was fresh. Hey, get back here. And I'm screaming at the fry cooks in a Wendy's, and I'm just making a scene. Everyone else is trying to enjoy their fucking burger, and here's me saying that they've been tweeting lies for 2 years. And that the Burger King will be hearing of this.
Who's the Frosty in this show? Because that's, like, the best part, right? Unless, like, people really fucking love Baconators, I guess. I don't know. I don't eat much fast
food. I suppose that his interactions with his bulbous friend are the Frosty. There is a sequence where he is imagining what he would do in our main character's shoes, and in his imagination, he is this chiseled, clean-cut.
He's, like, way hotter than he is in real life.
And it's a good gag. It's
a really funny...
I have no problems with that joke, and I think that I would nominate him for the Frosty of this program.
Okay, yeah, What's his name again? You've got it written down.
Oh, Fumiya.
Fumiya wins the Frosty Award, which I just made up.
So, Natsuo and Rui enter their second plan. And at this point, 2 of the little 007 schemes have already collapsed. Like, there's one where they're going to say they didn't know each other at school. People already think they're doinking. And they're correct.
And they like,
good job, people.
Right. No.
Good job, Vox Populi.
They're all immediately smarter than these two already.
And now they're embarking on this new plan, which is they're going to make Hina stop her affair and confess. Because they just refused to fuck off out of this girl's personal life. And Natsuo knows that he has unfinished business because he was almost in there, I guess, and he's not going to let this go. He's not going to let some married man steal his sister booty, I guess.
It is fucking fascinating watching him pretend to care. like he cares about Hina and her well-being and her
Yeah,
emotional
Natsuo's
health.
carrying a tiny cross behind him, and the weight of that thing is sinking his feet into the earth as he slowly breaches hell. And I like watching him go
There's
there.
something that, honest to God, though, it's compelling fucking television.
I
Because
can't underrate the days of our lives kind of aspect of this thing.
I'm remembering watching True Detective years ago, and Woody Harrelson's character is a bad fucking person who just runs around on his wife just all the goddamn time. He deserves every bad thing that happens to him, but it's still just great to watch. It's gripping to watch because he's such a realistically bad person. And Natsuo, I'm gonna give them credit. He is a very realistically written, terrible person. And I think that might be what this show's strength is. Here's the thing. I was the one who pitched Domestic Girlfriend for this
And
episode.
I went along with it because that's the kind of choice that I make. And I think I've been putting too many decent things into my brain lately. I've been reading some new books. I've been getting back into science fiction. I could hold a conversation on a date with a real person who's outside of these trash circles. So when he brought that domestic kanojo to my footstep, I jumped on it like a dog jumps on its own waist.
But now I'm reevaluating my thoughts on this thing. I brought it to Dennard because I thought, okay, yeah, we could probably jump on this, and maybe it'll be a challenge, right? Because it's a little bit more oblique in its trashiness. But the more I'm talking about this show, the more I think I appreciate it. Maybe for the reasons that the author has intended. Like, I am entertained by this drama. I find it strangely compelling. These people and the shit that they are doing to themselves and to one another. I want more of it.
I do like to turn on a pirated TV stream at work around 2 p.m. and listen to people yell at each other in Spanish about affairs and someone secretly being a serial killer, as they often are in a telenovela. And I really hope one of these people is secretly a stabber.
Secretly a serial killer? Yeah, I think...
Rui would be too easy. I want it to be Hina. Hina needs to be stacking heads for me to be fully engaged by this show.
I wonder if this is a show about Natsuo's journey from just regular creep to serial killer.
Oh, season 1 Dennis to season 8 Dennis?
To season 8, yeah, no, it could happen. Probably not, but it could happen.
It would be great. This is Bundy Origins we're writing here.
My friend Natsuo.
My friend Natsuo. I think it'll be a media sensation. My closing note on this show, or at least on a related note before we jump out. I want this to end the way that Seinfeld did, where everyone's on trial. Because Natsuo's a creep, Rui doesn't seem to understand boundaries or people, Hina is, for lack of better words, a hoe. And I want that trial where the judge says you're all terrible people, you're all going to jail.
You're all going to jail now. And
We're going to throw you to the lions or woke Twitter or a Fox News morning show, Tucker Carlson screaming at the camera.
I honestly really want these guys to go to the Jean-Paul Sartre hell, you know, the little hotel room, right? These three, abso-fucking-lutely, they belong in that room together.
They have earned that room.
The no exit room. Yeah, no, hell is other people, and it's called Domestic Girlfriend. This has been Sam Mute Monkey Lagow.
This has been Dennard Blind Monkey Dayle. You can find more of Weeaboo Hell on your podcasting platform of choice or over at SeymourEvil.com. Yes, SeymourEvil.com. You should check out SeymourEvil.com.
SeymourEvil.com.
This has been Weeaboo Hell.
It's Weeaboo Hell.
Testing, testing, testing. Theme song. Theme song. Theme song.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that thing is a real score. Good job, Mr. Hart.
It's
like chef's kiss. This might be our episode singers gushing on this fucking theme song.
I'm so into it. It is so my fucking jam.
I'm very glad I spent a lot of my very little money on that song.